Welcome. This is the Credit Fraud and Identity Theft webinar brought to you by Amy Barrios, Branch Manager. What happens if you're a victim? We're going to give you some helpful advice on what you can do now. The first one is to contact the credit bureau and to place a 90-day fraud alert on your credit reports. The three credit bureaus are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Get a copy of your credit report. Review your credit report balances, new accounts, and inquiries. Once you've placed the fraud alert, you are entitled to an additional free copy of your credit report, in addition to the one that you already receive free throughout the year. The next thing you want to do is file a police report. You can take that police report and send it to the credit bureau, and they will place a 7-year fraud alert on your credit reports. The next thing you need to do is contact your creditors by phone. You can follow up with them in writing, dispute any fraudulent items, fill out a fraud affidavit, and be sure to keep good notes. Make copies of everything, keep them in a file, and remember, be persistent. This is your good credit that's on the line. Lastly, you can go onto the website of the Federal Trade Commission. The Federal Trade Commission is the nation's consumer protection agency. They assist identity theft victims with education and resources to help with your situation. And as we leave this section, I wanted to remind you that even though credit fraud and identity theft is not your fault, it is still your problem. Even though you are the victim, you still have to keep good notes and follow up with your disputes. Always write down the names, dates, and times of all the calls that you made. Write down what the person that you talked to promised you. Give them a couple weeks to provide you with the requested information, and then be sure to follow up again with them. Now we're going to talk about some wonderful resources to help prevent credit fraud and identity theft. The first one is to place a credit freeze on all 3 of your credit reports. You can do this by writing a letter to each bureau. The cost is $3 to freeze and $3 to unfreeze. The fee is waived for seniors and identity theft victims. You are provided with a secret PIN number so that you can freeze and unfreeze as you like and whichever bureau that you like. This prevents creditors from granting unauthorized new credit. The credit freeze addresses are Experian Security, Equifax Security, and TransUnion Security. Listed on this page is the P.O. boxes in order to get the information to them to freeze the credit. In order to process a credit freeze, you should request it by letter, and it should include your full name with middle initial, date of birth, social security number, address for the previous 2 years, copy of driver's license or other ID, copy of recent utility bill, bank or insurance statement. Copies must display current address and date of issue. Send the letter and payment of $3 by certified mail with return receipt requested to each of the 3 bureaus. Your credit union also has an identity theft program. It is offered free with a checking account. It provides credit monitoring. It also has an identity recovery advocate in case you are a victim of credit fraud or identity theft. It offers up to $10,000 expense reimbursement for credit fraud and identity theft if you have expenses that come out of your own pocket. And it has family coverage. This is a wonderful service, and it's wonderful that it's free because most places do charge for credit monitoring services. In closing, I'm going to give you some helpful resources. The first one is Balance, which is the credit union's financial fitness program. As long as you're a member of the credit union, this service is free to you. They provide identity theft education, financial counseling, help with budget or credit and debt counseling, and housing counseling. You can reach them by calling 888-456-2227 or by going to our website, then going to Your Knowledge, and then you'll find Balance Financial Fitness. What's great about this program is that if you are a victim of identity theft or credit fraud, and you open your mail after hours and find out that you've been a victim, they can help you. They are open later than the credit union is open. We also recommend that you opt out of phone solicitations and put yourself on the Do Not Call registry. You can do this by going to 888-382-1222 and calling from the phone that you'd like to opt out. You can also go to www.donotcall.gov. This will help eliminate a lot of the sales calls that you don't appreciate getting. Keep in mind, though, it doesn't affect companies that you already do business with. For instance, your telephone company, they're still able to call you and offer you services unless you opt out directly with them. Other places that will still be able to call you are people looking for charitable donations, and also, as we all well know, if it's election time, you will still get phone calls. Other than that, though, this is a wonderful registry to put yourself on because it really does do away with many of the sales calls. Are you tired of getting pre-approval offers in the mail? I know I was. I went to www.optoutprescreen.com and I entered my information, printed out a letter, and mailed it in. I now get very few pre-approval letters. And if you're wondering why you get all these offers in the mail, the credit bureaus in some businesses share and sell your personal information or credit score, which results in them sending you these offers. If you put it in writing, you can permanently opt out of getting these letters. You can also call the numbers on the screen. I love this service. I used to get many, many offers in the mail, and now I get very, very few. If you have any questions that haven't been answered in this webinar, please feel free to call your credit union at 1-800-873-5100 and ask to speak with a member service representative. They'd be glad to answer any credit fraud or identity theft questions that you might have. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this webinar brought to you by the IBM Southeast Employees Federal Credit Union.